thanks for having me on. Yesterday, I filed with the state, essentially creating an exploratory committee that allows me to start talking more broadly with Montanans about whether or not, my vision for a more vibrant private sector that creates more opportunities for our young people and more people can stay in the state instead of breaking families up is something that Montana wants. So that's the current status.
Sure. Now, when you talk about your vision for Montana, you just kind of hit the tops of the trees there for a second. Can you be a little bit more specific about, I know that there are thousands of Montanans who are unemployed and underemployed and who really want to get good paying jobs that they can help support their families with. How would the Gianforte governorship make that happen?
Well, I'm not at a point yet where I'm laying out a whole policy, but I will say that I'm a firm believer that opportunity and prosperity are only created in the private sector. It's the small businesses, it's the entrepreneurs that create opportunities. And we have firsthand experience. My wife and I, and many people know the story, but we started our software company an extra bedroom to the home, no outside capital, and for the almost 20 years, that business grew to be one of the state's largest employers. And in the process, we created a lot of livelihoods for people, and so much so that last year, 40% of all of the wage growth in the entire state occurred in Gallatin County. And I just think those are the kind of wages that, allows families to build and buy houses, and that creates construction jobs. And we have more prosperity in Gallatin County now. And I love Montana. This is my home, and it has been for 20 years. And I'd like to see that prosperity spread more broadly. And I think part of it is helping entrepreneurs in the state in their businesses thrive.
Now, Greg, I mentioned before we began recording our interview that the Democratic Party, Montana Democratic Party, is already throwing basically all sorts of lobbing all sorts of shots at you, saying you're a New Jersey billionaire, that you don't understand our quote our Montana values, end quote. Saying, I remember you were quoted about Social Security not being biblical, and of course, obviously that's taken out of context. But when you hear things like that, obviously it's got to be hurtful because, and when you do declare it, you must admit it's just going to get worse. So how do you plan to handle comments like that, and what are your responses to them?
Well, I think Montanans are smart. They can see through this stuff. These things are just plain silly on their face, and it's an indication, honestly, that these opponents are scared. They're scared of someone who has business experience, has demonstrated a positive record of job creation right here in Montana. The accusations are false and petty, and honestly, is distracting from what the real issues are. The reality is we're 49th in the country in wages, and unfortunately, our most precious export today is our kids. And I'm trying to put forward a very positive, upbeat message that we can change things and we can create better opportunities for our young people. And so that's what I believe.
Yeah. Now, Greg, we have two fine universities and several excellent colleges here in Montana. As governor of the state of Montana, if you decide to run and if you are successful, how would you help utilize those assets to help make Montana more prosperous?
Well, again, I'm not laying out a whole policy at this point. I've just filed for an exploratory. It's important I get out and talk to people, but as I've demonstrated in the past, I think education is critically important. As I said, I think computers are here to stay, and we ought to be introducing computer science in our high schools so we can prepare our kids for the future. I also think teaching entrepreneurship is extremely important, and because if the private sector is the solution for creating opportunities, it's really business owners, entrepreneurs that are the spark that gets that engine going, and yet we're not introducing people in schools to that concept. And finally, I'd say, not everybody's going to go to a 4-year school. I think we need to be doing more with trades education in conjunction with our 2-year schools to prepare people for some of these other high-wage jobs that exist either in manufacturing or construction.
Okay. Now, Greg, if folks want to give input as to what you're asking about, how you want to proceed, how can they contact you and let you know how they feel?
Sure, that'd be great. We do have a website. It's very easy. Greg for Montana. That's Greg, GREG, Montana spelled out.com. GregForMontana.com. And they can go there, and if they give us their email, we'll keep them posted on what we're doing. Again, I want to hear from Montanans, hear what's on their minds, and collect the best ideas to improve the state so we stop exporting our kids.